have the wrong type of personality to give a proper introduction to my videos, so I'm just gonna start like this. Hey guys, today I wanted to start in on a project that I've really wanted to do for a while, and that is to make a feather pendant out of silver. So I've got this scrap piece of metal here, and I want to see what I can do with it. So let's get started. So with this piece of silver, I want to kind of roughly sketch out a feather shape, maybe. Something like that, where it's almost micro sized. So next I am going to take this and cut out with my jeweler saw this specific shape. I don't believe that I will be cutting out the stem of the feather though. I will probably solder on a piece of wire for that, so, and then that way it'll have like a nice bail at the end. So I don't have an interesting jeweler's bench like everyone else, so I'm probably not going to record this because there's really not room to set up a camcorder, and I know that sounds silly. But what I do, because I don't have a jeweler's bench, is I take a piece of scrap wood and I actually set it up so that it runs from my toilet to the bathtub, and then I sit on my squatty potty and work. No joke. So one thing to take into consideration when you're doing any kind of metalworking is always hydrate. So but anyway, this is my little piece of metal that I cut out for the feather. It's not like perfect or anything, but it doesn't have to be perfect because we can take care of a lot of the pointy parts and misshapen parts with files and our rotary tool, so it's not a huge concern. Next, I'm going to take this and see how it kind of curves. I'm going to try to flatten that out on my anvil just a little bit. Perfect. That flattened out pretty decent. Okay, so next what you should do is you should grab some wire, and this is 18 gauge wire, and I just want to get a long enough piece so that I can solder the vein of the feather, and then also once it's finished, to create a bail for the feather to hang off for a pendant. So I'm gonna go ahead and solder this on. Now this side is a little curved, and I want it to be a little bit more curved to kind of go like, I don't want this to be a perfect straight up and down feather. Like, the tip of the feather is this sharp point. So that's how I'm gonna solder this. It's just kind of lay it on there. And something that you might want to get are some interlocking tweezers. And what I mean by that are these tweezers. I have never used these before, even though I've had them for a while. So you just press them together like that. It opens up. you put your two pieces of metal together. Actually, I want this bent just a little bit more. Something like that. And then you'll put your flux down on your pendant. And I've had a lot of interesting solder problems, and this is probably not advised by any jewelers, but I actually bought this at the hardware store. So I'm going to use this flux. I actually found it in the plumbing aisle at Menards, and you just want to put some flux right on here. And I'm going to wipe the flux off the tweezers. And I like to use these little guys for my soldering pieces. And this flux, it like hardens on the lid and then makes a giant mess every time that I use it, but whatever. So then I have these little silver flakes. And you just put some down on the table and pick them up with my tweezers and put them into place. Sometimes I put probably more than necessary because when you go to fire this, the flux will start to boil and the little pieces will pop off your piece and then it won't solder together, and that's not good. And the solder will also dry, or I'm sorry, the flux will also dry really quick on your project, but it doesn't really seem to matter. My experience with it is that it will still heat up to a proper degree. And make the silver flow. So next we're gonna fire the project. Okay, so now what's gonna happen is I have two different solder blocks, actually three. I have just the typical like honeycomb shaped one. I've got a wire mesh in between layer and then an additional for protection, and I just use this old cookie sheet, and that is how I choose to fire my projects. Here is my piece. Get it on there. Alright. Guess it's just gonna kind of be up in the air a little bit like that. Make sure you wear eye protection at all times. Turn on ventilation. And fire. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and put it in pickle. So what that looks like is this. Just a little jar. Pickle. Release it. And it goes, and let it set. Okay, so I have the soldered pieces right here, and as you can tell, it's seems to be on there pretty well. Okay, so we've got our piece here, and probably what needs to happen is some material needs to come off. This needs to be shaved down, and we need to put our feather lines in the metal. So how I'm going to do that is I have a chasing spike right here. As you can tell, it's very, very narrow. We should be able to start putting lines into the metal with our chasing tool using our anvil. So that's what I'm going to start to do. And again, wear your safety glasses. I can't remember what a feather looks like. I've got some examples here. Okay, so, okay, with a feather, I don't know if that is coming in very clear. The lines go up, pointed toward the top, so I'm headed in the wrong direction, actually. That's okay, I didn't get very far. This might be difficult. I have only done this with copper before, and it appears as though silver is a lot easier to make indentation lines. So I'll give you a preview of what's going on. And just keep doing it. Okay, so this is kind of what I have right now. It's not perfect, but we are still going to work on it a little bit. My next plan of action is to hammer down the stem a little bit to the base. And the reason that I want to do this is because if you take a look at this feather, it doesn't bulge up as much as this does. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so we've got something that looks like this. Took it down just a little bit. Now I'm going to go in and cut out the ruffles of the feather. So like if there was like to be, if this were to spread, for instance, like, you know how they tear like that? I'm going to go in and cut out those pieces. Here's our feather. I've cut little pieces out of it. Kind of see where I'm going at with this probably by now. Now the next step that I need to do is to go in with a rotary tool and smooth the top part down, take some of that out, round off the corner, it flipped in my hand, round off this corner, and then just kind of clean up the rest of it in general. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, but just to let you know like my thought process, and then probably once that's over with, we'll go ahead and finish off the bail and patina this little guy. It's looking pretty cute. Okay, so I have sanded it down a little bit, and what I wanted to do was go back and re-anneal the piece so that I could get that centerpiece a little bit flatter, and I'm also considering flattening out the rest of the stem a little bit more. I'm not quite sure how I want to go about that, but that's something that I'm considering. About the piece is I want to try to flatten down what's going on here, and then possibly texture this as well. I have this problem where if I start to work on something and I'm filming something at the same time, I forget that I'm filming and finish the project. And that's kind of what happened in this case. I decided not to add the cross hatches on the end of the feather. I then went ahead and made the bail with the remainder of the wire, and then also I soldered the back of the bail to the feather so that you know, if you were to string a chain through the feather, the chain or the feather isn't going to get out. Let me show you what it looks like. Oh, I can't get it in there. Okay, so because I soldered it, it still has some fire scale on it. So I need to clean it up. This is what it looks like. The bail. It's just a simple remainder of the wire. So I'm gonna clean the fire scale up. And I'm not sure if anyone, I think that like the pickling agent is supposed to help clean up fire scale. In my case, I choose to use a more natural route of removing fire scale. So how I remove the fire scale is with apple cider vinegar. Now, if I left this in the pickle a lot longer, it would probably take off more than what it did. But you can also take off fire scale with a wire brush. I have a rotary tool attachment that's also the stainless steel rotary brush, but I can't find it. I'm not sure where it's at. I thought it was in my toolbox. It's not. Who knows? But that's okay. the tools that I have should take care of the fire scale, and then we're ready to patina this. I think that I might also sand down the back of the pendant. So I'm gonna do that and get back with you. Again, I'm working ahead. So I have this patina. I'll show you what it looks like. It's a patina gel. You're supposed to, I believe, directions for use: add 3 to 4 drops per cup of warm water. Dip or soak cleaned articles until desired color develops. Polish away unwanted oxidation. See online video instructions. Well, I didn't follow those instructions. I basically just dipped the entire pendant right into the patina, because the last time I followed those instructions, it wasn't what I wanted at all. Like, I just kind of ended up with a crappy product, a crappy patina, and I should probably clean that up. So this is what I have so far. So it's darkening, it smells really bad. I believe they say that's the sulfur. If you've ever smelled a rotten egg before, that's what it smells like. So it's darkening up really nicely. I probably could blot some of the excess patina off of it. Maybe even, I don't know. I think I want it to dry. I want to dry and then remove the patina. So that's going to take a while. I think I'm going to go for a walk, and when I come back, I'll finish this up, and then we will have the big reveal. Actually, I mean, to me, it looks good enough, but that's just my opinion. All right, guys, see you in a little bit. Back from my walk. Sort of feel like I need a little bit of a nap, but here is the feather. The patina is dry, and I think it is time to remove the patina now. And I have a little secret. I feel like I have a little secret when it comes to this, on how to effectively move patina without taking too much off. So a cheap way to handle this is by using baking soda. Just pour some out, and then you take some water, and you pour it in. And then you take this, and then just kind of rub it on top. And as you can tell, it's removing some of the patina that we don't want on there. And I'm going to remove the patina on the back as much as possible. As you can tell, I probably went a little overboard on the baking soda. And how I learned this trick is actually my grandparents used to do some work with some silver, and they gave me this product, and it was probably something that they bought back in the 60s. I'm not even sure that it's still on the market. And it was to polish silver. And it had the consistency of baking soda. And I had ran out of it. And I was just like, what can I use? And baking soda was the only thing that came to my mind. And here we go. So this is what it looks like, this feather. I'm gonna go wash it up and show you the final results. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching my tutorial on how to make a feather pendant. It's been a fun journey. I have never made one of these before, truthfully. I've always wanted to. I appreciate the fact that you guys joined me today in this adventure. And let me know if you like this style of video down below, because I do a lot with jewelry. Something that I like to do. So anyway, thanks again guys, have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye.